Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. Today I'm going to be sharing some of my recent card pickups, starting with a few cards from the 1935 Patria UX Senior Service Sporting Events and Stars set. And the first card is this really cool image of the Davis Cup. Next we have a card of Hall of Famer Fred Perry. Next we have a card of both Fred Perry and Hall of Famer Bunny Austin. Next we have Hall of Famer Helen Wills Moody, one of the greatest female tennis players of all time. And the last card from this set is the great Don Bradman, greatest cricketer of all time. All right, next, a couple weeks back, I showed a mostly complete set of 1955 Barber's Tea Cinnamon TV stars, but the one card that I was missing was the checklist. And I was able to pick that up, actually in a PSA Near Mint to Mint 7. And the reason this was, so difficult to find was that it says right here, if you had two of these gift cards, you could trade them in to your grocer for a free album to put the set in. And so there's not a whole lot of these actually out there. There's the checklist right there. Starts with Grace Kelly and ends with Marilyn Monroe, both legends. And so really happy to find this, and I was actually able to pick this up in a Near Mint to Mint 7 for the same price as some of the raw cards were, and so it was a no-brainer to pick this one up. Really happy to find this and actually complete the set. All right, next I just have a couple hockey cards. First we have a 1981-82 second year Ray Bourque. And not that I'm really actively looking to complete this set, but I do have quite a few cards from this set, so this was one of the ones that I was missing, so I just decided to pick it up. Plus, Bourque was a fantastic player. So happy to have a second year card. And the other one I picked up, I actually got this for less than the price of actually getting this graded. This is a 2022-2023 Upper Deck Matty Beniers Young Guns. It's a Beckett 9. You can see the subgrade, centering 10, edges 9, corners 9, surface 9. Some nice grades. And he was the Rookie of the Year a couple years back, if I remember right. So those are the hockey pickups that I have. All right, next on to the basketball pickups. I might have to bring the camera up a little bit for this one, but this is a 1970-71 Elvin Hayes second year card, and this looks absolutely packed fresh. Just look how bright white those edges are. Super sharp corners. Of course, I'm doing the Elvin Hayes player run, and this is just absolutely stunning to be able to find a copy in this condition. And so this was the, I guess, the most valuable of the ones that I still had missing from the Elvin Hayes run. So now I just have a handful of cards to pick up to complete that run. I think there was I know I need the 84-85 star, and I think there was like a late 70s and a mid 70s card that I still need, but this was the big one, and really happy to pick this one up. This was another one that I needed, but I've sort of had this for a while. I ended up finding a bulk lot of these, and I'm just going to pick the best conditioned one to add to my player run, but I ended up with 5. What year is this? 78, 70, yeah, 78, 79. Elvin Hayes. Got 5 of them. One of them's like really off center, so that one's definitely not going to be the one that I'll put with my player run, but some of these are really bad off center on the back. This one might be the one right here. This one's fairly nice as well. Best centered of the 5. And this one, which is really miscut. Cut half of the E off. You can see the line where they were supposed to cut it. And that's really bad on the back. But I actually got this entire lot for under $5, so you know, made sense to pick this one up as opposed to paying like $2 or $3 for the one card. All right, next I picked up a couple of rookies from the WNBA. And this one, really happy to get, because I'm a big fan. This is Caitlin Clark's select rookie. And with her being injured, I figured this was a good time to pick up a rookie card of hers, since I didn't have a single card of hers in my collection. And she's definitely one of the faces of the league. And another player from her draft class that, honestly, she gets a lot of flack, and I think she's a really good player, although, you know, she's probably more known for her defense than her offense. This is Angel Reese, and this is actually, what is this? Actually it doesn't say on the back, but this is not the concourse. The other one was the concourse. You can actually see that on the back, and this is like the second tier of her rookie, but it doesn't show it on the back, so I'm not sure what. Oh, there it is, Premier. This is the Premier level of this card. So kind of the second tier, and these are super cheap. I got this for under $3, and I mean, she's probably one of the best offensive rebounders in the game today. So really happy to get that one. All right, moving on to some of my football pickups, and some of these I've actually had sitting on my desk for like 6 months. Just haven't gotten around to showing them. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, first, don't know if some of you are familiar with the ESPN documentary, The Best That Never Was. But Marcus Dupree, The Best That Never Was, he was just an absolute amazing athlete at the University of Oklahoma. And eventually he ended up leaving for the USFL. And while he was in the USFL, he ended up getting hurt. And I think in 1990, he made his appearance finally in the NFL, sort of redeeming himself. And if it wasn't for that injury, no telling what we would be saying about Marcus Dupree. But just a really cool card to pick up. And, yeah, I mean, he is one of the better running backs to play in college football, especially in the early 80s. I don't have too many of these Premier Edition USFL cards, so really happy to pick this one up. All right, next, both of these are probably going out for TTMs, and I actually have this card signed once before. Here we have a pair of Roger Craig rookie cards. Of course, Roger Craig is an amazing TTMer, and occasionally he will inscribe these. To pick these up. I'll be sending them out really soon. All right, next I am doing the Mean Joe Green player run, but this is a card that I picked up that I'm not really considering part of the player run, but thought it was really cool. This is a 1972 Sunoco stamp of Mean Joe Green. And I didn't pay a whole lot for this, maybe $2. But this is essentially a second-year Joe Green, so really happy to pick this up. Of course, he went to my alma mater, University of North Texas. All right, next we have This is also a 1972 Joe Green. This is the 72 Topps. And I did have this card, but this one's in better condition than the one that I had. So it's sort of an upgrade. Next, I've had the biggest difficulty with this card. This is the 1973 Joe Green. And on the front, this looks fantastic. Unfortunately, the person that was selling this didn't show the back. And there is one thing that is a big pain with this card. And down here, you'll see a lot of smudging on quite a few of the cards that were produced. And so I've tried my hardest to find one of these that's super sharp, that doesn't have that smudging. And this one didn't have the smudging, so I was like, yeah, I finally found one. Unfortunately, because they didn't show the back, I didn't know that it had a gigantic stain on the back. Wax stain, gum stain, who knows? But that is just, it's horrible. And so unfortunately, I'm going to have to pick up another copy of this, but it is super sharp and it has nice eye appeal on the front. But the search continues for that one. All right, next, this is a 1974 Joe Green. It's in pretty nice shape. Happy with this one. Next, we have a 1980 Joe Green. Little off center, but nice and sharp. All right, next, this one was my fault. I just completely missed this when I put a bid in on it and didn't even discover what was wrong with it until it ended up at my house. This is a 1972 Gale Sayers. I love this card. Definitely need to pick up a better copy of this. And it looks nice, but I completely missed. Somebody did a pencil line on the back right there. I was like, oh, man. And nobody would blame. Oh, there's another one right there. Nobody would blame but me. I didn't even notice that. And they had pictures available on the front and the back. And as soon as it arrived, I immediately looked at the photo. And I was like, man, there they are. I mean, totally transparent with it. Didn't try to hide it like the wax stain on the Joe Green. But, yeah, I just kind of missed that. And I didn't pay a whole lot for it, maybe $4 or something. But still. This is definitely one that I would have passed on if I had noticed those. Oh, well. Lesson learned. All right, next. This is a 1973 O.J. Simpson. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of O.J. Simpson, but he was an amazing running back, and he's the only person to rush for 2,000 yards in a 14-game season. So he was a fantastic player. Just not much of a human being. All right, next, got a nice stack. I guess this is 5 cards. This is a 1996, I believe. 1996 Select Certified. These are Jonathan Ogden rookies. Of course, he's a Hall of Famer. Greatest offensive tackles of all time, in my opinion. And these cards are super cheap. I want to say I paid $4 shipped for all of these. So definitely going to take that deal. All right, next, this is a 2021 Donruss Optic. Micah Parsons rookie. Of course, he's holding out right now for a contract. Not sure if he's going to be ready for the start of the season. We'll see. I picked this up several months back before all the drama started unfolding, and he is an amazing player. Also from that same year, but this is the Donruss. This is the Jamar Chase rookie. Great receiver. In fact, I think he's the number one receiver going off the boards in fantasy football this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, next, I believe these are 2023. 2023 Topps Finest. Rookies of C.J. Stroud. First, we have the regular version. He did sort of have a down year last year. We'll see if he bounces back. Not too worried about it because the sophomore jinx is real. And then we have the refractor. Next, this is 2024 Donruss Optic. We have a Jaden Daniels rookie. All right, next, this is a card that I didn't have in my collection, but I had it many times as a kid. The 1989 score, Troy Aikman rookie. The last big card from this set that I need is the Barry Sanders, and that's the best one. It goes for about $40, $50, so I'll get it eventually. And the last football card pickup that I have, one of the greatest defensive players of all time, arguably the greatest defensive player of all time. Got Lawrence Taylor's rookie, 1982. All right, next moving on to baseball. So we'll start 1974 Topps and card number 1. Got the Hank Aaron card, new all-time home run king. And one thing I didn't realize until somebody brought it up a couple weeks back, this card was actually produced before he had actually broken the record. And it even says on the back, because on the back it says he has 713 home runs. And so he hadn't broken the record. He did eventually early on in the season. I want to say it was like April 6th or April 8th or something like that. But they printed this before he had actually broken the record. And it's kind of interesting because when you also think from this set, they actually had the Padres as Washington. And so they also sort of guessed that the Padres would eventually be moving to Washington, which actually they never did. So they eventually ended up correcting that. And I guess that's what they would ended up having to do with this one. If for whatever reason he had decided to retire or got hurt or something. But, you know, I guess eventually, I guess if he hadn't retired, he would have broken the record. So I guess it was a safe bet to go ahead and put this out. But really cool card. Wanted this card for quite a while. It's just kind of a legendary card and an important moment in baseball history. So happy to get that one. Also from the 1974 set, got the great Dave Winfield's rookie card. Got some minor corner wear, but I'm okay with it. And a little off center on the back. But happy to get this. This is the only guy that was ever drafted, I guess, into 4 major sports leagues, 3 different sports, because he was drafted into the NFL, NBA, ABA, and MLB. And of course, he became an MLB Hall of Famer. All right, next, I needed this card for my 1978 set, and I ended up getting 5 Eddie Murray rookie cards. None of them have creases, but some are better than others. Of course, he has 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, And he's got the second most switch hit home runs behind Mickey Mantle. So definitely a legend. And considering how good he was, this card is really cheap. And the last one. I also ended up buying a lot of another key rookie from that set. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that any of these would pass my test as a card that would be a keeper for the set. And you'll kind of see what I was talking about with the ink smudge on this one, because this is also common on this card. This is the Paul Molitor Alan Trammell rookie. Of course, both are Hall of Famers. And some are definitely better than others. This one actually has kind of a wrinkle in the middle, so although this is probably the best centered copy of all of them that I got, it does have that wrinkle. And then this is kind of the smudge that I was talking about on that Joe Green card. And that smudge is also really common on this card. And so 70s quality control at its finest. Here's another one. Again, you got the smudge. This one actually looks like, I don't know, there was something under this and somebody stepped on it or something. It's not really a crease, it's just more like an impression. But yeah, definitely damaged. This one just has a nasty wrinkle straight down all the way across. And again, it's got the smudge. So yeah, none of these are very good. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping that at least one of these would be good enough to include in my set. This one has no creases, but definitely some major corner wear, really off center. And it actually doesn't have very much smudging down at the bottom, so it's kind of a shame. Even with the centering, if the corners were nicer, this might have made the cut, I guess. This one, again, doesn't have any creases, but it's got some corner wear, and it also has the smudges. So not really happy with that one. This one's almost completely miscut, and it does have the smudges. But I guess the corners are a little better on this one than the other two, although they're pretty rough. And it's not only miscut, but it's diamond cut. And this one's probably the best of the group. This one might be a 4 at best. Still off center. The corners are okay, but it does have the smudging. So yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is the best condition to the group. But still, yeah, not really good enough for my set build. Anyway, those are the Molitor Trammell rookies. Moving on, picked up a nice copy of 1967 Topps Eddie Matthews. This one's super sharp, just a little off center. Of course, he's playing for the Astros now, but still in the Braves uniform. Gorgeous looking back. All right, next, this one's got some corner wear. It's more of a placeholder than anything, and I paid like $3 for it, so why not? 1975 Topps. This is the Fred Lynn rookie. Of course, he was the first person to win the Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. Only other person to do that was Ichiro. This one's definitely a keeper. I had this card as a kid, didn't have it anymore. And I do need this for my 75 set. This is the rookie card of the great Gary Carter. And it's really nice. These 75 Topps show a lot of chipping, and this one has no chipping at all. There's There's a little bit of corner ding right here, but that's about it. And a little off center, but definitely happy with this copy. Much better than the one that I had when I was a kid, too. All right, next, this is a 1979 Topps. Tom Terrific. Super sharp, really nice condition. I picked this up for a couple bucks. More of a placeholder than anything. It's actually the second oldest Nolan Ryan in my collection. This is the 1974 Nolan Ryan. No creases, just some rough corners. And for the price, I was pretty comfortable picking it up. But for my set, it'll be a placeholder. I'd look for something better. This is actually a lot cheaper than I was expecting. You can find real nice copies of that for like 15 bucks. All right, this one I actually picked up a group of Nolan Ryans, and one of them's really rough, but I have like 4 copies of it anyway. And that's the 81 Topps. This one's got like an impression right here. There's a crease right here. But yeah, I got several Nolan Ryans. Also got the 1983 Topps, and this one's nice and sharp. And I already have the 83 set completed, so I don't necessarily need this. But I think I paid $4 for all of these, so basically $1 a card. So don't mind getting an extra. And I did need this for my 84 set, and it's the main reason why I bought the lot. And you know, you see these for like $2, $2.50 or something. So to get all of these others for like $4, you know, kind of a no-brainer. This one's nice and sharp. Add this to my 84 set build. And they also had the 84 Fleer. I like the 84 Fleer set. I don't have a whole lot of cards from it, though. So this is kind of a cool card to get. All right, next. Definitely have all of these cards. I have the set, and had all of these cards before I completed this set. So these are like third copies of these. But I got them fairly affordably. And, you know, they're all... And they're not all Hall of Famers, but I would say they're all like iconic players of the era. One of them is a Hall of Famer, and that's Kirby Puckett. He's his 85 Topps rookie. And it's just a little off-center top to bottom. But I don't mind. It's nice and sharp. And like I said, I already had copies of this. I paid like under $5 for this, I guess. And picked up the Roger Clemens. And actually picked up 2 of this card. Unfortunately, one of them was damaged in the mail. And it was definitely damaged in the mail because the envelope was damaged. And I looked at the picture on the auction after it arrived, and there was no signs of this I guess it's like a web crease. So it was definitely damaged in the mail, so not really anything I can do about it. And it happens, but this is, of course, the iconic Mark McGwire Olympic card. But yeah, you can see like a spider crease right here. And it's a shame. That's okay. I did get a nicer copy of that. And like I said, I have a couple others in my collection, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, next, I picked up a 1987 Leaf, Barry Bonds rookie. I did have the Donruss copy of this card, but I didn't have the Leaf, so I picked it up. Next, I picked up a 1992 Four Sport, Derek Jeter rookie. Pretty sure I have one of these in my collection, but sort of bundled it with some other stuff, so. And I opened up a lot of this stuff for the, essentially it was the first Shaq rookie card, because I think it came up for the regular Classic. And I must have got a couple of those Jeters. But the last card I'll be showing, this is a 1995 Bowman. And I didn't have a rookie card of this guy, big fan. This is Vladimir Guerrero, his rookie card. And so that's all I have for you tonight. Till next time, thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.